Much of my early years as a baby car enthusiast consisted of sitting in front of the TV watching prime Clarkson Hammond May era Top Gear, untainted by overblown budgets and the knowledge that Clarkson was a bigoted twat. I would watch an episode on Dave, then immediately switch to Deja Vu, a pun lost on me at the time, to watch the exact same episode again. Because of this, there is one car that is forever drilled into my mind. One that Top Gear covered constantly and lauded as the greatest car ever built, and has possibly had one of the largest cultural impacts of any recent automobile. I am, of course, talking about the Dacia Sandero.
Great news!
What?
No! Stop!
Oh, and there's this other car they talked about a lot called the Bugatti Veyron. As window-lickingly stupid as 8-year-old me was, even he understood just how absurd the Veyron was. No other car had a W16, no other car had 4 turbochargers, no other car had 1001 horsepower, and most importantly, no other car could do 253 miles an hour. It was the zenith, the most car of all time. So it was only fair that it single-handedly etched into the minds of a generation the name of one of the great historic marks that may otherwise have been forgotten. Bugatti's history reads more like a Great Gatsby-style novel than it does the history of a company. Race cars buried underground to protect them from the prying hands of the Nazis, a son dying in a tragic car crash, all while Ettore Bugatti himself would only sell you a car after a personal meeting to deem if you were worthy. But now, years later, I've realised something. As much as I was, and continue in some ways, to be awestruck by the Veyron, something about it never fully clicked with me. Having delved into the history of the marque itself, I now realise why. The Veyron is not a Bugatti.
No, that's definitely a Bugatti.
No, that looks like a Bugatti to me.
No, that's still a Bugatti.
Yeah,
I do.
that looks like every Bugatti that I've ever seen.
That's what that
it's
looks
got
like.
the badge.
Pretty sure that's a Bugatti, mate.
No, that's definitely a Bugatti.
Yeah, it's just
actually,
obviously a Bugatti.
That is exactly what that
Fool.
looks like.
You imbecile.
No,
that
you're
obviously
wrong.
is a
That is-
Bugatti.
that's
a kindred
That's what it
Bugatti
looks like.
enjoyer. That is a Bugatti.
No, that is-
I
that
know
is exactly what
nothing
it
about
is.
Bugatti.
That
I
is
can
what
tell.
it
is.
Obviously,
Silence, plebes, and allow me to explain. Bugatti should be a product of passion, the kind to write stories about. The Veyron was VAG's vanity project halo car. Bugatti should be about elegance and precision. In a very Colin Chapman way, Ettore Bugatti once said that in racing, weight is the enemy. The Veyron is a near 2-ton heavyweight that achieves its speed through brute force. Ettore and Jean Bugatti designed cars with a purpose. Their luxury cars were large and comfortable, their racers were fast and light, and their Grand Tourers always seemed to find the perfect middle ground. What's the Veyron for? If it's a Grand Tourer, good luck fitting any luggage or loved ones in it. If it's a supercar, it's a pretty slow one around a track. At the end of the day, the Veyron seems like it was designed for VAG and the multimillionaires who bought them to pose. Ettore Bugatti designed cars to be driven. The Veyron was designed to do 253 miles an hour and 40 down the streets of Dubai. To add insult to injury, the Veyron's platform and even its legendary 8-litre W16 were first seen in a Bentley concept car. Bentley was Bugatti's arch nemesis. Ettore once derided Bentleys as the world's fastest lorries. Which, to be fair, is a bit of a cope. Bentley did tend to ratio Bugatti at Le Mans.
This one's calling me a renegade.
But here was one being tarted up with some turbos and given a Bugatti badge. Ettore would be spinning in his grave fast enough to power an artificial black hole denser than Elon Musk's skull. But things could have gone much differently. Had VAG not had a change of heart, then the Bugatti model range could have been a little broader, more interesting, and in my opinion, a lot more like Bugatti. Between the French and German French incarnations of Bugatti, we're not counting Virgil Exner's fever dream, There was the Italian attempt to resurrect the brand, located in Modena. This is the company responsible for the EB110, itself a more true spiritual successor to the brand than the Veyron. Almost a full 400 kilos lighter, the EB110 truly was faster than pretty much everything else on the road, both around corners owing to all-wheel drive, a mid-mounted engine and a carbon chassis, and in a straight line thanks to a screaming quad-turboed 60-valve 3.5-litre V12. But Bugatti was not just known for its races, it was also known for its grand luxury cars, and Bugatti Automobili planned on resurrecting this as well. A four-door concept called the EB112 was developed with the help of Volkswagen, who redesigned the EB110's engine into a naturally aspirated 6-litre unit, producing 450 horsepower and 479 pound-feet of torque. Inconceivably, this 5-meter-long front-engined luxury saloon was based on an extended EB110 chassis. The car debuted in 1993 to mixed reviews, mostly down to its styling. The rear end especially looks like someone should have had another crack at it, which is odd considering it was designed by Giorgetto Giugiaro of Ital Design, a man better known for designing the Alfa Giulia SS, a 2000 Sprint, and the 2600 Sprint, the Mark I Passat Scirocco and Golf, the DeLorean, the Lotus Esprit, the Maserati Merat Ghibli Bora and Mark III Quattroporte, the Lancia Delta, the BMW M1, and holy shit, this man is everywhere. How did we end up with this Chrysler Crossfire looking ass? But the combination of 6-litre V12 power, all-wheel drive, and a carbon chassis, complete with a luxuriously appointed interior, meant the EB112 would have packed a punch in a way no other ultra-luxury car of the time really was. Naturally, Bugatti Automobili went bankrupt 2 years later after failing to get the car to production. 3 years later, Volkswagen decided they weren't done with Bugatti and bought the rights to the brand, establishing the final and current version of Bugatti in Molsheim. The same year, they released the EB118 concept car, which probably means they'd been working on a concept car before they owned the rights to the Bugatti name.
The secret ingredient is crime.
The EB118 was a large classic GT that debuted at the 1998 Paris Auto Show. This gave Giugiaro a second crack at a modern retro-style Bugatti, and maybe the removal of the rear doors has something to do with it, but this car looks far better than the EB112, mostly due to the more steeply sloped rear. This is a true luxury road trip machine, far more in keeping with the likes of the Bugatti Type 57 of old, from which it clearly takes some design cues. Then the 1999 Geneva Motor Show introduced us to the EB218, a high-performance 4-door limo. Apparently not wanting to repeat the EB112, Giugiaro abandons the fastback and just sticks a boot on the back. The exterior is not where the 218 scores the most looks points though. That honor goes to what is possibly the sexiest car interior ever designed.
She is such a bad bitch, though. I will fuck the shit out of that
Interior.
man. I'm not even.
Finally, at the 1999 Frankfurt Motor Show, VW unveiled the Bugatti EB183 Chiron, a mid-engine supercar that in theory would have blasted to 60 in 3.9 seconds and not stopped until it reached 208 miles an hour. All these cars were built with the four-wheel drive system from the Lamborghini Diablo VT and a bespoke 6.3-litre W18. Now, this isn't a W18 in the same layout as the Veyron's W16, so now I'll have to explain some boring technical trash. The Veyron's engine is made using VW's trademark VR layout. The V6 in your neighbour's annoying teenage son's R32 has an incredibly narrow angle, allowing both rows of cylinders to share the same bank and head. The engine in the Veyron essentially shoves 2 extra cylinders on the end of this block and then shoves 2 of them together as if they were 2 banks of a more traditional V engine. 2 cylinder banks, each with 2 rows of cylinders, technically making this a WR16. This is actually where the 16-4 part of the Veyron's name comes from. 16 cylinders split into 4 rows. The engine in the 18.3 Chiron, as the naming implies, has 18 cylinders split between 3 rows. What's happening here is a more traditional W layout, in this case with 60 degrees between each bank and one of the banks lying on its side.
Robert Duvall!
Complete the engine with the required dual overhead cams and 4 valves a cylinder and you have one monstrous lump of an engine, producing 555 horsepower and 479 pound-feet of torque. Wait, that means it has 72 valves! These cars were what Bugattis were supposed to be. The sumptuous and luxurious EB118 and 218 have an air of retro cool about them, and would truly have not been like anything else on the road, while the 18.3 Chiron would have kept the harder, gnarlier edge of Bugatti alive. Wait, did I just say gnarly? These cars were about speed, luxury, and power, each in varying degrees as they were required, just what Ettore and Jean Bugatti intended back in Bugatti's glory years. If VW's claims from the time are to be believed, then these cars were ready to go into production almost immediately. But of course, VAG changed their mind. At the 1999 Tokyo Motor Show, a prototype called the Bugatti EB184 was shown, and went on to become the passionless corporate Veyron flagship, and Giugiaro's Bugatti-er Bugattis were consigned to the dusty archives of history. All that being said, is it really a shame that the Veyron was produced instead of these cars? Yes, because I want one. Once again, I remind you of the 218's interior, but besides that, would they have been successful? There is something distinctly mid-90s about them. By an early 2000s launch, they would have looked dated. Bugatti may have had yet another failed return, and itself died with a whimper, only to be remembered and admired by vitamin D deficient nerds such as yours truly. Who knows? But at the end of the day, the Veyron is cringe, and that interior is so damn sexy. Hello, welcome to the unscripted section of the video. I've done this for the last 2 videos that I've made, and I still need to talk about some stuff here. So, firstly, I'd like to thank you very, very much if you're still watching. These videos are basically passion projects for me, and seeing a couple of thousand of you watch the last 2 videos has been a real big boost. Genuinely, it's made me a happier person. I'm not really going to be covering the topic this time as it's fairly cut and dry. VW considered making these prototype Bugattis and then unfortunately decided not to. If you are a returning viewer, then you will have noticed that this video is shorter than the last 2. That is firstly so that I could get the video out more quickly, and secondly because I needed a break. I couldn't jump straight back into working on another half-hour video again. I also apologize for the time between videos. I am a university student, and making these videos in between studying for uni, having a social life, and having a part-time job that actually gets me food, it doesn't really leave much time for stuff like this. That being said, there are still more videos in the works. I have already finished the script for the next video that will be closer to the master video than this one in terms of length. Speaking of, it is entirely possible that this is the video that puts me over 1,000 subscribers, which is absolutely fucking bonkers. Thank you so much. When I do hit 1,000 subscribers, I will be making a celebration / state of the channel video, where I will be talking about the future of the channel and what I want to do with it, because I do want to keep making videos for this channel. If I stop making them, it will be because for whatever reason I am unable to. With that being said, I would like to make some special thanks for Harve, Enk, Pine, and Robin for voices for that dumb little segment where I said the Veyron wasn't a Bugatti. They are all very, very good friends of mine. And you can check out Harve on Instagram at HarvePosting, and Enk at twitch.tv/FluxicEnk, and Pine at twitch.tv/PineDeer. Robin's also going to be making something soon, and you bet your ass I'm going to be shilling that as well. With that being said, thank you so much for watching, and bye-bye.